Hey everyone, today we're going to get an updated look at the progress of Toronto's Ontario Line subway. The Ontario Line is a 15.6 kilometer automated subway being built by Metrolinx to relieve the existing subway system in Toronto and add better connections between the TTC and GO Transit. Today's video is going to focus on the section between Exhibition and the Don River, which is the downtown section, and the first 6 kilometer trunk of tunnel. Stay tuned for an update of the rest of the project between East Harbour and Eglinton coming soon. Based on recently released renderings and maps from Metrolinx, the Ontario Line has clearly been rebranded purple, which has stirred a decent amount of debate in the transit space. I already discussed this in my last update of the project, but it definitely seems like a more concrete plan now. Branding the Ontario Line as purple removes any confusion for riders between the Richmond Hill Line and Ontario Line, which would have shared a nearly identical alignment and shade of blue. The Ontario Line purple still contrasts well with the Line 4 purple, and these lines won't even overlap for at least another couple decades. Purple is also meant to represent Ontario's official mineral, amethyst. As for finalizing station names, Metrolinx has said that the placeholder names for 4 stations on the route don't meet their naming criteria, and were always meant to be placeholders. Final station names will likely be released before the end of the year, for King Bathurst, Queen Spadina, Corktown, and Riverside Leslieville. Tunneling on the first section of the tunnel between just east of Exhibition and the Don River is expected to start around early fall. Excavation of the launch shaft for the TBMs is nearly complete, likely with another couple months of digging in the store. The twin tunnel boring machines, or TBMs, were built and tested in Germany before being disassembled and shipped to Oshawa, where they're being stored until the tunnel launch shaft is ready. The Ontario Line is using twin tunnels similar to the Eglinton Crosstown and unlike the Scarborough subway extension, which is using a large single-bore tunnel. A naming contest for the TBMs took place at the end of June, but names haven't been chosen yet. The western terminus of the Ontario Line is Exhibition, where the TBM launch shaft is currently being built, and progress is well underway. GO trains continue to use the temporary platforms, which are accessible from both the pedestrian bridge and tunnel. Despite this station being quite temporary at the moment, it's actually a pretty nice station still. A huge new crane has been installed on the west side of the site, above a pre-made base. The base for a second crane to the east is still under construction, but should be complete before the end of August. Piling works to support the future station structure are also beginning this summer. At Ordnance Park, excavation of an emergency exit shaft is nearing its 30-meter final depth. Most downtown stations on the project are fairly hard to see because of the noise dampening structures above the excavation sites, which also restrict the flow of dirt onto streets. King Bathurst, for example, has had significant progress in excavation, which can barely be seen from street level. However, drilling of the station cavern is far enough along that both ends of the cavern have been reached, and work is now focused on widening the cavern to the final size required for the TBMs to pass through, and for final station construction. Excavation at Queen Spadina Station is 50% complete, and just like King Bathurst, the cavern is being sequentially excavated. Similar work is taking place at Osgoode Station. Cavern excavation is expected to be completed in June of 2026, a year from now, and a second acoustic shelter is being built on the north side of the station. What's really cool to me though is how the heritage facade of the west entrance was moved south to Richmond while staying intact. It's one of those things that feels exciting about this and similar projects. Being able to move a building is pretty cool. On the Eglinton Crosstown, brick for the heritage facade at Mount Pleasant was removed and stored during construction, although at Mount Cadenas, the Kodak building was moved in its entirety. With Queen and King Street being closed to streetcars, traffic and streetcar travel times downtown is less than ideal, making walking faster in a lot of cases. The closure on King Street is unrelated to the Ontario Line, however, all streetcars have been diverted to Adelaide and Richmond, where the Queen streetcar was already diverted by Metrolinx and the city for the Ontario Line. With all the streetcars on a new corridor, it's extremely evident that priority lanes and transit priority signals should have been used from day one, but they could still be used to save transit riders time in the years ahead. Micro-excavation and piling works have taken place at Queen Station, with the acoustic shelter under construction on the east side. An overhead crane attached to the top of the acoustic shelter will also be installed to support future work, and excavation is expected to begin shortly. The West Station site will also see the installation of a gantry crane to better support excavation of the station box. Moss Park Station is being built using the cut and cover method, and current work involves waterproofing the station box to prevent leaks once the station is complete. Other ongoing work is similar to that at other stations. Corktown Station excavation is underway, and cranes should be installed at both station sites shortly. Over at the Dawn Yard, continued excavation of the tunnel portal, which will act as the TBM extraction shaft first, is well underway. Construction of the Lower Dawn Bridge has also started to take place and will take approximately 2 years to complete, with a few weekend closures of the Dawn Valley Parkway. The temporary trestle structure has started to be spanned across the river towards the east side of the valley. Once the trestle spans the entire width of the valley, the final bridge structure will be slid into place. Overall, the downtown section of the Ontario Line is definitely coming together. If everything goes well, tunneling could be finished by 2028, leaving a decent window for construction to wrap up and be completed in the early 2030s. Thanks for watching.